Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, I want to review the rigging of Super Bowl 50, the signs of the scripted game that was, and I also want to talk about the halftime show. If you missed my preview video, I said that the Broncos would win, Von Miller would be the MVP, and there would be tributes to the Black Panther Party. All three of these things happened. Before we get into the rigging, I want to go back in time. In October, I made a video about this freeway wreck in California, and I said that this story was bogus and it's a riddle put out by the Freemasons and Zionists who control our media about the upcoming Super Bowl. And from this day on, I was saying that the Super Bowl was scripted for the Denver Broncos. Notice this accident happened at Colorado Street. And if you missed the story, what supposedly happened is this car rolled over on its own. The driver, the only person in the vehicle, was ejected out the back window and landed on top of this freeway sign. No one with a brain would ever think this story was true. And what I know from studying the media and sports is that the powers that be, they make up fake news stories that have to do with the sports championships. I've documented this many times. Anyhow, what now stands out to me about this story is the mile marker on the sign. 3/4 of a mile. The word murder has a gematria of 34. The end of the Super Bowl, the score was 24-10, a sum of 34 points. And a day prior, Stephen Curry, the NBA star, also a rigged league by the numbers, predicted that the Panthers would win 24-10. Instead, the Broncos won by that score. So anyhow, let's go back through the game. If you've missed my prior videos, you owe it to yourself to go back and watch them, because the knowledge I'm dropping in these videos is knowledge you can use in a variety of ways. I have shown all throughout the season all the scripting for Peyton Manning and the Broncos. The very first play of the Super Bowl was by the Broncos offense, and I want to tell you how I knew the game was over from that second on. The first play of the game was a pass play from Peyton Manning, number 18 in his 18th season, to the 33-year-old Owen Daniels, who wears the number 81, the reflection of 18. It was an 18-yard pass play that put the Broncos on the 38. And again, Colorado's the 38th state. Colorado in gematria equals 38. Panthers also equals 38. Panthers also lost in Super Bowl 38 to Tom Brady, the other face of the rigged NFL. But just think about it, 18-81 for 18 yards to start the game, when, if you know my channel, you know that these games are all rigged by the numbers, and these plays are scripted with numerical purpose. The date of the Super Bowl was also a date with 18 numerology, and number 18 in his 18th season goes out on top. As for Owen Daniels, he's 33 years old. The last time the Broncos won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 33, played on a date with 33 numerology, wearing white. That was John Elway's retirement game, his 16th season. Manning played 18. So why was the score 24-10? Here is why. As I talked about in my preview videos, 24 was an important number. In history, the Broncos and Elway lost to the San Francisco 49ers, who were hosting this Super Bowl. They lost 55-10 in Super Bowl 24. The Broncos did. This year, John Elway's 55 years old, and so are the Denver Broncos. As for 24, when written out as a word, it has gematria of 50, just like San Francisco, who was hosting Super Bowl 50. And again, Elway lost to the San Francisco 49ers 55-10, Super Bowl 24. As for Levi's Stadium and Denver Broncos, they both have gematria of 154, and the Broncos finished their season, including the playoffs, with a record of 15-4, a lot like 154. In my preview video, I thought the sum of the score might total 39 points because 39 is an important number. Manning's 39 years old, the oldest QB to start in a Super Bowl. Denver's on the 39th parallel. Charlotte in gematria equals 39, an important number in this past year's World Series. Well, anyhow, we got the 39 tribute through the score of 10. 10 as a word has gematria of 39. Charlotte finished with 10 points. The Broncos with 24. That sum of 34, again, it connects to murder. And remember, this started with a story of death on a freeway. The Super Bowl being on the 38th day of the year, the word death has gematria of 38, and also it was on February 7th, 2/7. As many of you know, the number 27 is associated with death. The Madden preview said the sum of the score would be 44 points. The kill number. This rigged Super Bowl is connected to a coming event in this nation's history. The Super Bowl is always connected to the tragedies that play out in the year ahead. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a big death in this nation in the year ahead, and that will likely be the 44th president, all part of the scripted hoax that we're living out. So get this. Manning came into the game with 199 wins. John Albert Elway Jr., John Elway's full name sums to 199. 199 is the 46th prime number. This was the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era. Levi's Stadium, the small way, equals 46. Peyton Manning's birthday falls 46 days after the Super Bowl this year. 46 is the number that connects to Chicago, the birthplace of the NFL. Chicago in gematria equals 46. Before this year's season, the draft was in Chicago for the first time since '64. The draft will also be in Chicago this spring. The coach of the Carolina Panthers played on the '85 Bears that won 46-10 in the Super Bowl over the Patriots with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. The Bears went 15-1 that year, just like the Panthers. Ron Rivera was on that team, head coach of the Panthers this year. And let's not forget that Ron Rivera replaced John Fox. John Fox then went to Denver before being replaced by Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak and Ron Rivera, John Fox's replacements, met in the Super Bowl. John Fox is now coaching the Chicago Bears. National Football League in gematria equals 85. When the NFL and AFL merged, they become the National Football Conference. Starting in '85, there was a streak of 13 wins by the NFC and Super Bowls. That started with the 49ers, then the Bears. This year, the Super Bowl was hosted in San Francisco with all these Bears connections. You see how heavily this is scripted? You see how heavily this is mapped out? None of this is a coincidence. This is all long planned. Next year's Super Bowl is already determined. So is the year after. For as long as this Super Bowl thing is going to go on, they already have it scripted and planned out. That's what people need to wake up to. As I pointed out, John Elway has a life lesson number of 50. So does Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning and John Elway, life lesson numbers of 50. They become the two Super Bowls to win in their retirement season. Manning even has a birth numerology of 122, syncing up with San Francisco where he just won it. During the game, they gave us this stat. 2 QBs have thrown interceptions in 4 different Super Bowls. John Elway and Peyton Manning. I mean, do you think it's a coincidence? Of course it isn't. It's all part of the joke. And as I said in my preview video that I made more than a week before the Super Bowl, Von Miller will win because 58 is another very important number on this Super Bowl. It connects to the Black Panther Party. It connects to Freemasonry. It's Freemasons that run the league this way by the numbers, who have it all scripted. It was no surprise that Von Miller won. Miller's also a name with 33 gematria. Broncos hadn't won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl 33. His full name in simple English gematria sums to 211. 211 is the 47th prime number. 199 is the 46th. 211 is the 47th. The first Super Bowl in the 47 season. One of the most important numbers to the Freemasons. He also has birth numerology of 137, the 33rd prime number. There were a whole lot of 137 and 33 tributes. The Broncos went up 13-7 on a 33-yard field goal. No coincidence. He also has birth numerology of 38. Again, this Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year. It was the golden anniversary. The word gold has gematria of 38. The 49ers were hosting, named after the gold rush. One of my favorite setups by the announcer for the rigged spectacle was on the punt return before Jordan Norwood's record punt return for a Super Bowl. The announcer was sure to say, "Oh, and remember, viewing audience, in the history of the Super Bowl, there's never been a touchdown return on a punt return." And then the very next one, we get this record punt return that nearly went for a touchdown. His birth name, Jordan Shea Norwood, 199, the 46th prime. And if you haven't seen my video on the college championship, I showed how all the scoring was by the numbers. I did the same thing on my blog for this. It's just so much to go through. I don't know if you'd appreciate it, but a lot of the same tributes. There was one missed field goal in this game. It was a 44-yard field goal. In gematria, field goal equals 44. In the college championship, which was connected to this championship, both kickers missed 44-yard field goals as well. It's all scripted. Even the missed field goals are scripted. CBS was hosting the game. At the end of halftime, the announcers came back by saying, "Oh, here's a little fast fact, audience. Every time a number one defense has been in the Super Bowl, they've won 9 of 11 times." 9 of 11, a lot like 119. CBS's symbol is the all-seeing eye. On their network earlier this year, they said 119 days until the Super Bowl. These are the trademarks of the Masons and Zionists. September 11th happened on the day it was because it was also executed by this numerological code. At the end of the game, Cam Newton in the scripted fumble didn't even try to recover it. He just stood over the ball like an idiot. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. Supposedly you played all season to win. You're just going to let the fumble just sit there before you and let Denver pick it up? I mean, I don't know how anybody watches these games and doesn't see the rigging. It's just pathetic. I get so tired of people saying, "Zach, you're wrong about the players being in on it." I mean, you guys are fucking blind. Did you watch the NFC Championship game last year? Clinton Dix had the ball right in front of his hands to knock it down and win the game. Packers in the Super Bowl. Game over. What's he do? Pulls his arms down and tucks them at his side and lets the ball whiz over his shoulder. For the score to lose. I mean, who's watching? The people who run these leagues count on idiotic fans, drunk fans, blind sheeple. I'm trying to turn the sheeple back into people. Wake the fuck up. God, it's pathetic. Here was another headline that made me laugh. The governor's Super Bowl bet, salsa versus turkey, having gematria of 58. Here I am talking for weeks about the significance of 58 on this Super Bowl. Von Miller, number 58, wins it, like I said. The MVP. Anyway, then all part of the race war propaganda, after the game, they send Cam Newton out to act a fool on the stage. And they did this with Marshawn Lynch a couple of years ago, too. A lot of people think Marshawn Lynch is this real dude just being himself. I mean, you guys are sheep. The fucking guy does commercials. He participates in this rigged league. He does, These people are all sellouts. They all play their part. They fulfill their script. That's why so many sports stars are also actors. Notice also they put Cam Newton in a hoodie. They keep shaming black men in hoodies. So often this past year, they've put out the shot of Bill Cosby in the hoodie. You know, Cam Newton's been appearing in fancy clothes after games. And this one, for his walk of shame, they put him out in the hoodie. They got the big Gatorade G in the background. Remember, Big G, the Freemason G, also represents 33. In Francis Bacon gematria, lowercase a through lowercase z's 1 through 26, uppercase a through uppercase z, 27 through 52, Big G, 33. That should say 27 through 52. Sorry, truth seeker typo. But anyway, if you missed it, Cam Newton went up there, didn't say anything, and then walked off. They got this guy on Twitter making a big deal about it. Also with the name Cam, I'm sure.